Hope I get the chance to travel the world, but I don't have any plans. So wake me up when it's all over, when I'm wise.
Hello there. And now, as I've talked on Bond for a bit, why not do this one, as nobody does it as better as Roger Moore in his third outing as Bond, that being The Spy Who Loves Me. Considered to be the best of the action ones Roger Moore did in the 70s, this would have to be The Spy Who Loves Me, which I like to call The Spy Who Shags Me. But it's just me being dirty minded. The song definitely hits a bell. As we all know, the song was gold. Nobody does it better. And I'm not going to do the rest, or I'll definitely not do it any better. Starts off with Roger Moore doing what he does best, shagging, and he gets sent on a mission. Starts off with an amazing stew soap scene where he's first time ever seen him stewing, bad guys shooting him left, right and centre. Now I'm going ahead of myself, because before you do get that, you get one of the guys in it. He becomes one of the Bond villains, slightly a Bond villain. Bit of history here. The guy who Roger Moore kills on the stew soap is the woman to be the Bond girl's husband to be. And not only that, this actor originally was going to be Bond in 1983 when they thought that Roger Moore was never going to be Bond again. But that's a different story. So you got the epic scene where he kills someone who would later be the woman of the man who he killed, who was going to be the fiancée, which you find out as the story goes on. It's definitely a good action piece, and it was the first time you get to see Richard Cheale. You know who he is? Think of the Meckle Teeth. He is sadly no longer with us, may he rest in peace. You may know one thereafter appeared in Moonraker. Not a bad one, and you can definitely see why it's considered one of the best of the Bond series. Now at the time, a lot of people felt that they were trying to make Roger Moore into another Sean Connery in the last Bond movie, that being the man with the golden gun. But I've seen bits and bobs of vary there. So they tried to make him more humorous and more into depth, but in this I still went he was a bit of a bastard. Think about it. This was the Bond film where he uses a dare in it, to get information, snogging her and all that, and he uses her as a fucking shield when a bad guy tries to shoot him. It's not been the first time, and Connery, as I always say, was definitely not a good guy. He did it in Thunderball, Sean Connery. But I do like to see where he gets this guy and he says that line, "Where's Betty's? Where's Betty's?" And he's holding onto his thigh, knocks it out, lets him fall to his death. One of the Bond girls in it, who's a beautiful woman in that era, really was a beautiful woman, was married to, as you know, the drummer from the Beatles. Been in a few films after this, but mostly she was more or less popular for this film, and this film I would say would be The Spy Who Loves Me. You do get another girl in it, who is one of the villains. You might remember in a review I did. That being Salter High. Beautiful woman in a day. She's been in a lot of the Hammer House films. She's been in loads, and I mean fucking loads of stuff. Dark brown hair, nice figure, a nice pair of personality, and she really was a good looking girl. And in this, you got that action piece of music, and that music to me is fucking iconic. It's a bit of music what they use from the Bee Gees. You ever remember the Bee Gees? Well-known band. And they use a bit of the music all the way through the movie. You got this beautiful epic action scene. It's just the same used in a lot of other Roger Moore films. You know, you had the 007 theme in most of Connery's. I thought it would have been ideal to have this bit of music in Roger Moore's. Sadly, because of copyright, I can't play it. But if you ever remember the Bee Gees, there was a song, I can't fucking remember the name how the song went. And there's a bit of music where you just go, "Debbie, Debbie, higher, never, never know." You ever heard that bit of music where it goes, "dun dun 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 dun"? I can't play it again, copyright. But if you ever heard the song of the Bee Gees, they use a bit of that music for the action scenes. Again, you got Jaws, Diary of the Meckle Teeth. And I do love the iconic scene where he's biting people and killing people. Again, because of the error and because they tried to keep the rating mild, you don't actually see him biting chunks out of people and all this stuff. But you get the idea, he bites people with the metal teeth, which Richard Cheale's always thought was like an amusing scene. Now a lot of people might wonder, well, why did Richard Cheale, as Jaws, not speak? Probably because the metal teeth, what they put on his real drums, hurt that fucking much. He could barely fucking speak. He could barely open his mouth. He had two to sign, so I just wondered if the teeth looked different. They really, really hurt his drums. They hurt so bad, he could barely fucking say a thing. He was in a lot, and I mean a fucking lot of pain, filming that scene. Unless you know he was a big guy in real life, but he was a big softy in real life. Not at all like you say, his Jaws. And they had to design tailor-made toes, and when they was moving out, just like they did in Moonraker, they had to give him a special bed, king size, and the lot, because he was a big guy in real life, a real big fucker. But he was a softy in real life. I think Roger Moore got to like him. They were friends when the film came out, and you know, when he passed away, he gave his respect, Roger Moore. But it's definitely proves the point that no one does it as better as Roger Moore. Think about it. At this time, he was in his late 40s, and he definitely proves that age is just a number. This is a guy who's been in 7 Bond films, the biggest record since any other actors ever played Bond. He has humour and stitty remarks, what definitely suit that role. He knows how to be serious as well as humorous. He's good with the one-liners. With him talking posh, you could buy Bond being British and upper class. He has that snobbery about him, but in a way, what is smooth. You could buy him having a beautiful woman in one arm and a Martina in the other. So, it definitely went with that role. Nobody does it the better. You also get that beautiful Ultra Lotus, amazing car that goes underwater. Now, as you know in real life, the Ultra Lotus does not go under fucking water, and it does not fire fucking missiles and all that stuff. But you know, with it being a Bond film, being an action film, I can let that, like the car what threw in Man with the Golden Gun, I let that fly over my fucking bald head. Because, you know, I had fun watching it. And was any Bond movie really supposed to be that serious? But in real life, the Ultra Lotus, as anyone would know, can float on water. So the scene where you see it on the water and it's floating, that was the real Ultra Lotus. But it's underwater, we all know, with special fucking effects. But I do love the scene where it's floating on water, which we all know had a special engine what allowed that car to float on water. And as we know, the girl found out that Bond killed her hubby and she wanted revenge. All the way for the film, she wants revenge. But as we know in the film, Roger Moore saves the day, saves the Bond girl and the shag, and he shags for another day. Ironically, the ending of the Bond film, with the words come out, nobody does it the better, did that for your eyes only. In the main credits, like they do in most of the old Bond films. They'll tell you what the next Bond film was going to be called. But as we all know, the next Bond movie was going to be called Moonraker. Bit of history there, and I'll leave that for another review. But, oh no, The Spy Who Loves Me, you can definitely see why it became a classic and why it was a popular film in that day. In 1977, it definitely was a cool year to be in. Think about it. You had Smokey and the Bandit. You had The Hills Have Eyes, being the second film that Wes Craven did. And you had the biggest film of all in 1977. Apart from Close Encounters. How the fuck could I forget that? Close Encounters of the Third Time was a big hit for Steven Spielberg since Jaws, and not the one with the metal teeth. And as well as Close Encounters of the Third Time, you also had Star Wars, the biggest film of 1977, the summer of 77 I should say. You had Star Wars. But the one biggest one, as well as Star Wars, would have been The Spy Who Loves Me. And there's a bit of history in The Spy Who Loves Me. It was the last film, but people may not know this, It was the last film that Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, saw in the cinema before he sat there, said his goodbyes in that day, which is quite sad, that Elvis. But in one way, Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, before he said his goodbyes to us in 77, it was the last film that Elvis Presley went to see in the cinema. Bit of history there for people that don't know that. But again, The Spy Who Loves Me, you can definitely see why it's a big hit film, was a big hit in that day, and it's considered the best when it comes to action. And what's more, even today, proves that no one does it as better. That being The Spy Who Loves Me, and because I love it and it's a big hit film, fuck it. A 50-star rating. Think about it. 10. 10er, 30, 30, 50, a 50-star rating, because there's no faults in The Spy Who Loves Me. There's no bits in there where I feel they'd had a copy You Only Live Twice, the scene where the big fucking submarine is eating sips, just like You Only Live Twice. You had a thing with rockets. In this, it was a sip. But all in all, it's a good action piece. I love the music in it, but it's a bit like the Bee Gees. If you think about it, you've ever heard that? They're living in the back. They're coming in the back. You get me higher. I'm sounding like the fucking Bee Gees now. Which, funny enough, saying this, 77, you had Saturday Night Fever and all. But if you ever heard that bit of music, hear the action scenes in The Spy Who Loves Me. And again, the beautiful girl with the brown hair, who got it, as we all know, was in sort of high. In this, she does get killed, but outsmarted, so she didn't really die of stupidity. Like, sort of fucking high. It's not a bad thing, and like I say again, a 50-star rating. Because Roger Moore, in my eyes, is smooth, and he's had to be one of the best from the 70s. In the end, I'll do more movie reviews, probably some more to tests. I'll probably talk about more politics, but today I thought I'd tear myself up and talk about a really good action film with kids to shit. How amounts of shit you see nowadays. Into then, I'll see you later. See you later.